Kevin Patten, who was a writer for Cannabis Times magazine, and he is a full-time occupier. He's a revolutionary. We met through Cannabis Times magazine, and we also did Occupy Los Angeles together. And I'd like to welcome to the show Kevin Patten. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Terry. How are you? I got to correct you real fast, though. I am not a full-time occupier, actually.
You're not?
I'm a part-time occupier, full-time revolutionary. But my revolutionary tactics take different forms.
You know what?
To occupy all the time.
I totally agree with that. I consider myself the same thing, same way. I did Occupy, and also I feel I like to call myself an artistic revolutionary, or artist activist is the term.
There you go, right on.
Yeah, right on. So when we first met, we were writing with Cannabis Times magazine, and you did did you do two articles with Jessie Ventura?
Article with Jessie Ventura? I did, absolutely.
And no, so it was just the one article that you did with Jessie?
No, actually, it was two interviews that I had done with Jessie, and I was supposed to do a third interview with him for his newest book, The Demo Cribs and Bloodykins. But actually, then he sent me the book, but then they ended up, they bailed out on me, and I never got a call back from him. So that sucked.
Huh.
So far, yes, just the two.
Speaking of Jessie Ventura, just recently last night, I guess he has on True TV, he has a show there. I think it's called Conspiracy Theory or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He actually aired an episode on, we were discussing this, on the reptilian hybrid people, which I thought was interesting. To bring up reptilian hybrid again, we did a little excerpt with the alien comedian on the subject matter. So I thought that was kind of an interesting correlation there. So when you did the interview with Jessie Ventura, what was the article or the subject matter about on the first time in Cannabis Times magazine? Any highlight?
What was it about? Really, just whatever Ventura usually talks about. I mean, when you hear one Jessie Ventura interview, you actually pretty much listen to them all because he just kind of repeats himself and goes on about it. But it was just a normal kind of strange perspective on things. I actually can't recall right now. It's been a while since I actually looked back at that interview.
Now, I saw that the second article that you did, he had some commentary on Proposition 19, which was the attempt a couple years back that California had for legalizing marijuana, and of course we failed at the time. So now, and to my understanding, Jessie Ventura is pro-legalization. Is that correct?
That's correct, absolutely. Not just for marijuana either, but for all narcotics. I mean, he thinks that we should end this drug war. So do I.
Yeah. So so now let's move off of the Jessie Ventura bandwagon here. So, and then we reconnected, you and I, at Occupy Los Angeles, which, yeah, and we camped out for I mean, you were there, you seemed to be there more than I was in terms of like staying night after night. How many days would you say that you actually stayed camped out at Occupy LA?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend at the time, we were going down there about like 3 or 4 times every week, 3 or 4 times a day, 3 or 4 days every week, and we just switch back and go back over here at home. Because I don't live in Los Angeles. I live outside of Los Angeles. And so we'd stay out there for a few days, and then we come back and regroup and go back. Well, I would say I was there most of the time.
Yeah, you were. I mean, every time I was there, you seemed to be there. I mean, I think there's a couple times that you were there, and then I didn't. I didn't see you there. One moment that I really remember, we were getting hyper criticized, or they had an eye on everyone about keeping the property in good condition and keeping the city hall area and where we were camping out really clean. But there's one day that you came up to me and you said, would you give me, what was it, like $1 to do a backflip or something? And I said yes. And I'd never seen you do your backflip before. And you did a backflip off of the railing that leads to the entrance of City Hall, and it actually pulled it up out of the cement.
Yeah, it did. I do remember that. So does my back. That hurt quite a bit. I jumped up on the railing, and I thought, hey, everybody check this out. And the damn thing ended up breaking out of the ground, and I went falling right on my back. That hurt a lot.
So what, Kevin?
Did I get my $5? I don't know if I ever got it.
Was it $5? I know that after that I felt so bad for you that first of all I said I was going to pay anyways, and then like when it happened I go, shit, I better give him his money, because yeah, and you hit the pavement hard. I thought, oh my God, he's injured. Not only was the railing pulled out of the ground, but
Hey, I jumped right back up and I did another one. This was maybe 3 minutes afterwards. I rested for a quick second.
Yeah,
I jumped back up there and did it again.
You revealed you saved yourself on that one. So Kevin, what motivates you? What motivates you? What is it that you are the most frustrated about in terms of, let's say, things like marijuana legalization, our government? I mean, what motivates you to go out and become a part of a huge movement or protesting against?
It's a great way for me to relieve pent-up sexual frustration.
Uh-huh.
So I just go out there and yell, and it's just really good therapy for me, actually.
So it really all comes down to sex?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
No, actually, that's not what motivates me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt very strongly about issues of freedom really my entire life, as far back as I can remember. And there are several issues I cannot stop thinking about. I cannot let go. So in order to express it, the best way that I know how to express it is actually go out and talk to people. It's my form of activism. Protesting's good. Demonstrations are good. But that's not always how I prefer to express myself. But like you said, the drug war and our imperialistic adventures overseas, our private central bank, which controls our currency, these things are very important. So that's how I deal with it. I go out there and I talk to people and try to change their minds, knowing that I probably won't be able to.
Is that how you feel? I mean, you feel that even that you won't be able to change their mind? I mean, do you really feel that in your core self?
I do, actually, especially about the Occupier. That's why I don't spend a lot of time down there. It's because everybody likes to have a simple answer, and the simple answer is, well, we had this big monolithic government, so if we can just take control of it and have them do everything for us, then that'll solve all the problems. And that's actually not the answer. That's the problem. Big government is always a problem, as far as I'm concerned. So people I think people like that easy way out, when really the only way to get off the system is to become self-dependent. And the only way to do that is stop funding all these damn things. Gardens are great. Community gardens, private gardens are a great idea, and democratizing currency. But those are proactive steps that people have to take, and that's so much work. So it's better just to go out there with a sign and say, well, I want to free this, I want to free that. But it's not going to do anything. You're only empowering the monster. So, I can go down there and I can talk someone blue in the face, but a lot of times it doesn't do the trick. Because everybody just says, oh, it's capitalism, it's capitalism. And most people don't even know what capitalism is, so it gets a bad rap. Everybody gets tossed aside. I
don't think people even understand what communism is, really. I think that a lot of people are confused about a lot of terms that we end up, saying, well, I don't want to have health care because I believe in capitalism. I had somebody tell me that. I don't believe in giving health care to everybody in the United States because I'm a Republican and I believe in capitalism. I'm like, yeah, but you're working for a $7 an hour job with no health insurance, and you can sit here and tell me something like that, and I don't even know if you really grasp, or even at the time when this person told you what that meant.
Nothing's free, come on.
Right.
I know everybody wants free everything. They want free health care, but nothing's free. It has to come from somewhere. That's why either we're going to pay for it now in this generation, or we're going to be paying for it in the future. And I think it's just incredibly immoral and unholy to place this entire national state debt on the unborn generations who had absolutely no fucking say in what they want to do, and what was happening today. So I can't get down with it. And that goes for all these industries. That goes for every single institution that is feeding off the state. I just don't agree with them.
Kevin, I want to ask you, what is your age?
I'm 27.
You're 27. Okay. I'm just, because a lot of people feel that the Occupy movement is pretty much a youth movement. I mean, there's some older people, but I just kind of want to get a demographic of the youth that knows and is protesting against what's happening. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I have the freedom to think however I want. This is the United States of America, and I think that I'll let Terry do the thinking for me. Tere Joyce puts the probe back in prohibition. Tere Joyce knows more about conspiracy theories than anyone in the United States of America, and that's because she makes up most of them. Tere Joyce can host a show like no one's ever seen, but that's only because no one's ever seen her host a show before. That's why I'm asking you to watch the Hollywood Hemptress Hour with Tere Joyce, and you can trust me because I'm a warlock. Witch's honor.
Joyce. How is everybody? I'm here in Occupy LA, and you know, I protested a few times. You know, when Wall Street was being raided, and I grabbed my backpack, and here's my backpack here. I mean, all right, this is pretty big, and here's a recommendation for people who might be protesting: is make sure that it's not too heavy. It was like 25 pounds, and I was like marching and I could barely breathe and say the words at the same time, and you know, I was like, wow, I'm getting tired, so I took a cab back. Is that bad? Is that bad? I don't know. And you know what? I wasn't the only one, because when I held the cab, there was a guy who took off his V for Vendetta mask and said, hey, can I come in there with you? And I go, yeah, come on. So I don't understand. Protesting is not for the faint-hearted. You know, you got to build up to it. What I want to know is, like, why can't we just, like, maybe protest in a mile radius? You know, we could get our point across just by going around a little bit, you know, don't you think? Now, the other day, we protested for Bank of America, and some people were arrested, and one of them was an 84-year-old woman, and I really want to applaud her for even being out there. I mean, that's just astounding in itself, that you're 84 and you get arrested for protesting. I hope to even like see her pretty soon. Another thing too is that, you know, if you look around, I mean, and of course this is a fixed camera, but there's tents everywhere here, and you know, there's been people occupying all over the world, and you know, we've been bothered by police and things like that. But there's one guy started to occupy Best Buy, and he was on the news, and nobody's bothering him. And I want to know, why is that? Apparently, it's okay to camp out in front of a department store, but it's not okay to camp out to protest your rights and to go against the corporates. Wow, I would have to do this one over again.
Well, that was good. You're quite right.
That's my point. Just one thing is that the word occupy can get pretty nasty sometimes. You know, like, for instance, that it could be used as like, this bitch is gonna get occupied right now. Have a great day.
Occupy your mind with wisdom. Amen.
Occupy your world. Oh, and here's another thing. This is another thought. There was a play by Aristophanes, a Greek play called Lysistrata, and it was about women who stopped having sex with the soldiers and the generals to stop the war. And so this is what I say to the girls out here and to women in the world. Occupy your vagina. It's important, and we do have power. Peace, and stay occupied.
Anybody falling? Anybody feel they're falling?
We're back. We're here with Kevin Patten, who is a writer for Cannabis Times magazine, former writer. He also has his own blog, and he is a revolutionary, participated in the Occupy movement. And we're here. Thank you for staying with us, Kevin. Are you there?
Hi. Yes. I'm here.
Rupert Declo goes, is he back eating soup?
I took out from him, like you may.
Rupert Declo is the infamous producer here at Hollywood Hemptress Hour that you never really see him, you just hear his voice. So another question I have now, I saw one of your signs that you have, and I posted it. It's going through the feed right now while the interview is going on. You held up a sign that says 9/11 is an inside job. Do you really feel that?
Yes. In fact, I think the evidence right now is absolutely overwhelming against the Bush administration. The problem with 9/11 truth when you tackle it, though, is that everybody likes to, it's the same old government line with conspiracy, but let it to upset, let it blur all the stories, like to really muddy the water so that there's really never an objective conversation about it. So really, I took a really simplistic view on it. I think that the government had lots and lots of prior knowledge, and there's plenty of indication that the Bush administration wanted those attacks to happen, as all empires like self-inflicted wounds, because it gives them an excuse to do everything. They can go do anything they want. So that's 9/11. I don't talk about whether or not there were explosives here or there, or whether or not there were hologram planes or whatever. It's too complicated, so I don't go that route. But absolutely, I think the evidence is really pretty damning against the Bush administration.
Where do you think, say for instance, like if a person was curious and they wanted to research 9/11 and get the most accurate information on it as possible, are there any type of videos or places that you would recommend for somebody?
Well, sure, but I would recommend Michael Rupert's book, Crossing the Rubicon. That's a really good book. There's also The War on Freedom by, actually I forgot that guy's name, but Crossing the Rubicon by Michael Rupert's really good. There's a lot of information out about 9/11. There's quite a bit. The library is pretty stacked.
What about
so
loose change? Do you feel that...
Loose change is okay, I guess. It's all right. But again, they really they start looking at other different aspects of it. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Yeah, it's good information. With something like 9/11, you have to take all the information and just take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. Well, there's also Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11, which also points in that direction and makes some interesting...
Yeah, but I don't give much credence over to Michael Moore. I think Michael Moore's an idiot.
Oh.
So he mentioned it inside of his book, but he never really explored it very much. I mean, he mentioned it in passing mention, really.
So what do you think about the past legalization of marijuana in Colorado and Washington State that just happened a couple days ago?
I think it's fantastic. I smoked the blunt as a tribute to the legalization because it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great, really. I think it's wonderful. Washington and Colorado now can, as long as they can go forward with it and not give a fuck about what the federal government says. And just not care, then I think it's good. But actually, I think they'll probably kowtow to the government. If the feds come in and say, I want you guys to stop, they probably will stop. I mean, the Fed makes all the decisions anyways.
Well, it didn't stop medical marijuana. I mean, they've been raiding the dispensaries, and then, nothing happens, and they reopen again, and it just seems to be this whole strange tactic.
Yeah, but medical marijuana had a different constituency, though. The medical industry had all these patients behind them. They were huge uproar when people started cracking down on dispensaries. I mean, you don't really have that with the recreational aspect. I mean, people would just dismiss it and say, he was trying to get high.
But you know what?
That's the thing with cancer patients.
They're going to, I mean, first of all, though, there is something significant about people voting for a certain way of life, and to have the federal government come in is blatant against what the voters want. And I think that, I believe to some people, I mean, that's the reason why I began to stand up for it, was because I thought, well, you know what, I voted for this, and I'm close to a dispensary, and yet I'm not even in the dispensary. I'm in a doctor's office, and I'm being held at gunpoint. And that was a really shocking realization for me. I don't even think that I would be doing the show right now if I hadn't had that particular incident and that fact was pointed out to me. So if they do come after, say Washington State or Colorado, when you're talking about businesses too, you're talking about people, this could possibly increase an entire different network of livelihood for people, from trimming marijuana to places opening up that have smoking cafes, entertainment in the smoking cafes. huge revenue of business and a flow of income during a time where our economy is suffering. And really, for what reason? And so if the federal government does come after it, after 2 states have actually legalized it, I don't feel that it's going to look good, and that it might be the fire that lights people to realize what's going on in our government. Do you agree?
Yeah, possibly, absolutely. I mean, it could have a negative effect on the feds if they did come in and start doing all these raids, as they've done in California. It could definitely have a negative backlash for them, certainly.
So I have another question to ask you.
I'd rather just leave people alone instead of coming in there with the raid.
Well, I would too.
I don't want to do all that, but if that's what it comes down to, then that's what it comes down to.
Well, I mean, if they do it, then we realize that that's where our tax dollars are going to too. So it just goes on and on about like the waste of money for prohibition and the drug war that we're under. Now, you had an incident with the police. Like, you went up to Occupy Wall Street recently in New York, and now wasn't there some sort of altercation that you had while smoking marijuana out there?
No, actually, I didn't have any confrontation with the police when I was out in New York.
You didn't?
But no, I didn't. No, I was like, I stay away from the police.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, a couple of my friends that I was with out there, they got hassled.
For
marijuana?
marijuana?
One of my homeboys from Tampa. No, it wasn't for marijuana. One of my homeboys I met down in Tampa. He had actually, I didn't even see this guy. I went to New York after Tampa, and I was with the crowd on the 17th, the 1 year anniversary. And I just see the cops just pouring in this group, and then they start kicking and punching. And all of a sudden, I see my homeboy get up. He's dragged out from this crowd. It was messed up.
Over
So
marijuana?
I didn't have any personal confrontation myself.
What I find interesting about, it wasn't about marijuana? He just got harassed?
It was not.
Okay.
He was, I think he pushed one of the cops back. One of the cops tried to grab him off the curb, and he shoved him off of him.
Huh. What I find interesting about Occupy LA, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, people were getting arrested for open containers of alcohol, and yet we were...
Oh, yes, that was me in LA. I had a...
Weed was totally okay,
container.
which I thought was really ironic. I want to ask you one last question. We got to wrap it up in the next couple minutes. So you've done a lot of activism. You worked you're a writer. You're a blogger. What do you see next for yourself, Kevin? What's the next frontier?
Myself? Oh, you know what? I'm trying to go to the Mayan temples. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm trying to put like a thought process out there. I'm trying just to like manifest it in this universe. I'm talking a lot about it. I'm talking to people, and hopefully it happens.
What was it again?
I don't know if I forecast it, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
I missed what you said that you want to do. I didn't hear it. What was it?
Yeah, I want to go to the Mayan temple.
The Mayan temple.
It's the end of the world, Barry.
Yeah. Well, very cool. I think that's a wonderful goal for I guess like December 21st, right? I don't believe it's the end of the world. I believe that there is going to be a change. It may be the end of the world as we know.
No, our reptilian overlords are going to come down, and we're going to do battle with them. And we'll be victorious afterwards, and then everything will start anew. It'll be beautiful.
Right. Okay. Well, who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, you heard it here first. Well, thank you, Kevin, for letting us for being on the show. And is there any websites or what's the blog that you site that you want we can direct our readers to, or our listeners or our viewers?
No blogs, but actually I believe I'm supposed to get published in a magazine called Paranoia magazine. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get published in here. I wrote an article about the Bohemian Grove.
Oh, Bohemian Grove.
The Bohemian Grove.
Which is an area...
Next time I think of the Grove. The Grove is very interesting.
Yeah, it is. And what is it? Just right before you go, just tip it off. What is Bohemian Grove?
A Bohemian Grove is a forest kind of conclave that is 75 miles north of San Francisco. It's in the Redwood area. It's all redwoods up there.
Uh-huh.
And every year for like 100 years or so, more than that, all the elites of the world, or mostly inside this country, mostly Republicans actually, they get together with their weapon manufacturers and all their banker friends, all the heads of industry, the heads of state, and they do a bunch of weird shit. It's really weird. I really couldn't go into it right now. It's pretty strange.
Yeah, it's strange. It's kind of, they do like a whole creation of care ceremony and where there's a human sacrifice and things like that. And all the major politicians have been there over the years, including certain entertainers like Merv Griffin, and certain people have been there, and it's kind of like a secret meeting that nobody is allowed to film, be near, or even really know about takes place. A good film to see and get introduced about it is Alex Jones has a movie called Bohemian Grove, which you can actually watch on YouTube. Well, we got to get going.
Alex? Oh, no. Okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah, you don't like the Alex Jones version?
It's Alex Jones puts the spin on it. He tackles it and he says, well, it's all like demon worshiping, and that's what they're doing. It's all Luciferian. It's actually not true. The cremation of care is not an actual human sacrifice. It's an old kind of ceremony that they do, and they get together and they sacrifice care, their collective conscience, their concern, their guilt, whatever you want to call it. But it's not like a real sacrifice. They don't worship Lucifer or anything.
Well,
I mean, puts a spin on it, and it makes people turn away from it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe not, maybe so, but I mean, yeah, I can get your point, though. I'm not sure. I think anything where you're like simulating somebody dying and then calling it cremation of care, symbolically it lacks a certain amount of compassion, which is disturbing. Those are the people that are running our country and our government and our businesses. And that's just the point I'm going to make up here. But we do have to go. I really thank you so much for calling in, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
This is Bob Marley. This is like Bob Marley. What do you call it? Shroud. There's a Bob Marley shroud right here, where we normally go to the bathroom. This is like, I guess this is like part of the city hall. And if you see that orange cone right in there, we all line up to go to the bathroom there. Right now, there's nobody there, which is really heaven, because the porta potties really suck. Yeah, here we are, the shroud of Bob Marley, Buffalo Soldier.